it's a good bounce back win for us today. I thought we started the game with the right tone on the defensive end, and so that was that was.
The basketball world practically stopped in its tracks. After months of uneasy silence, indirect comments in interviews, and the most debated roster exclusion in recent sports history, the unthinkable has finally taken place. Team USA didn't just quietly add Caitlin Clark to the training camp roster. They handed her control of the entire program. In a move that has shocked analysts, former stars, and fans everywhere, the exact same coaching staff that once insisted she wasn't ready and needed to earn her place has now officially announced her as the captain of Team USA. But if you think this is some emotional story about redemption and hard work paying off, you're missing the real picture. The headline isn't the title she received. It's the strange, tense way the whole thing unfolded and the powerful figures who may have forced it to happen. Normally, news this huge would come through polished press statements, major social media rollouts, or united support from veteran players. But that's not what happened here. Instead, the announcement came straight from the head coach during a media session that reporters described as cold, uncomfortable, and almost unreal. She stood at the podium, stared directly into the cameras, and announced Caitlin as the new leader of the team. There were no smiles, no emotional gestures, nothing warm about it. Barely a year earlier, this same coach was insisting that the team dynamic, experience, and hierarchy mattered more than anything, and that rookies had to wait in line before stepping onto the world stage. Now suddenly the narrative has flipped, with the leadership torch being handed to the very player they once rejected. It felt abrupt. It felt unnatural. And judging from Caitlin's stunned expression in the background, wide-eyed, stiff, clearly taken off guard, she seemed just as surprised as everyone watching. This didn't feel like a promotion. It felt like the team was giving up control. And that's why we need to dig into what really unfolded in the 48 hours before this announcement. Because when the same people who tried to keep you out suddenly crown you leader, you have to wonder, is this really a win? Or is it a setup? To understand how massive this moment truly is, we need to go back in time. You can't grasp the shock of this new development without remembering the chaos that erupted in 2024. That summer wasn't just about selecting a team, it turned into a cultural battlefield. When Caitlin Clark was left off the Olympic roster, it wasn't presented as just a basketball decision. Instead, it was framed as a lesson in respecting the hierarchy of the sport. The criticism came nonstop, harsh, repetitive, and loud. People said she was too young, too untested, not physically ready for the toughness of international play, but the biggest talking point centered around one word: chemistry. According to Team USA leadership, the veteran core that had played together for years couldn't risk disrupting their rhythm for a rookie, no matter how famous or impactful she had become. The reaction was explosive. Fans were furious. Analysts debated endlessly. Social media erupted. But the coaching staff stayed firm. They won gold, and used that victory as proof that they were right all along. Standing proudly on the podium, medals shining, they acted as if they had confirmed a universal truth: that no single superstar would ever matter more than the system itself. Oh, now here we are. And we have to ask, what changed? How do you go from she disrupts the chemistry to she is our captain in less than 2 years? Did Caitlin magically gain a decade of experience overnight? No. Did the veterans suddenly volunteer to hand leadership to her? Definitely not. The stats didn't change. The basketball logic didn't change. Only one thing changed: the power dynamic. And that leads us into the real world of professional sports, where decisions rarely come only from the court. Rumors are already spreading that this wasn't the coach's decision at all. And if you want to understand why, you follow the money. Insiders claim this dramatic reversal was driven by business pressure, not strategy. High-level executives at TV networks, corporate sponsors, and major brands allegedly stepped in. Because while the WNBA exploded in popularity when Caitlin entered the league, with packed arenas, record jersey sales, and ratings approaching NBA levels, the national team wasn't experiencing that same surge outside the Olympics. Yes, the veterans kept winning gold medals, but they weren't capturing the attention or the revenue that Caitlin brought. According to reports, a message was delivered loud and clear: Make Caitlyn the face of Team USA, or risk losing funding, visibility, and premium broadcast slots? Executives allegedly pointed out the simple truth: people tune in to watch Caitlyn Clark. If she isn't on the floor, casual fans tune out. So while the coach may have spoken the words publicly, many believe she was simply delivering a decision made by the people who sign the checks. Which explains the stiff posture, the emotionless tone, the tension in the room. This wasn't a proud mentor celebrating her player. It was an employee carrying out an order. They needed the Caitlyn Clark effect to keep the program relevant in a rapidly shifting sports world. And that, unfortunately, is only the beginning, because what reportedly happened next was even more personal and far more uncomfortable. According to whispers about that private conversation, the energy in the room wasn't hostile, it was desperate. The rumor is that the coach finally admitted something no one had dared to say publicly: the program is in trouble. The gap between Team USA and the rest of the world is shrinking fast. European teams are improving, stronger, faster, more organized. Meanwhile, the veteran core is aging out. The coach allegedly told Caitlyn that the team doesn't just need her shooting, they need her presence. They need her as a shield. Her star power can cover the cracks in the system. Her popularity can sell tickets, keep the program profitable, and distract from the decline that it was, by every account, a confession disguised as a promotion. Now imagine being Caitlyn in that moment. The same person who publicly dismissed you a year earlier is now sitting across the desk asking you to rescue them. It's a power shift so intense it almost feels uncomfortable to imagine. Caitlyn reportedly sat quietly and listened, saying very little. She didn't request the captaincy. She didn't negotiate for it. It was placed on her shoulders like a weight. And the impact on the locker room has been nothing short of explosive. Understand the chaos. You must understand Team USA's hierarchy. These women have played together for years. There is structure. There is rank. Veterans who have collected medals and accolades have waited patiently for their turn to lead. How do you think they reacted when the very player they once froze out, the rookie they brushed aside, was suddenly named their superior? Reports claim team group chats went completely silent. No celebratory posts. No welcoming messages from senior leaders. Just nothing. And in today's sports culture, silence says everything. Of course, there is jealousy, but it runs deeper. To the veterans, the captaincy is supposed to be earned through loyalty and time, not handed out as a marketing strategy. They see this as the collapse of the culture they built. Some insiders even suggest that certain older players are already thinking about walking away. Some are reportedly considering sitting out the next cycle or retiring early. They don't want to answer to a 23-year-old. They don't want to become supporting characters in the Caitlyn Clark show. The locker room is now split into two clear sides: the younger players who embrace the change and the veterans who see it as disrespect. The coaching staff has unintentionally created a civil war inside their own program. How is Caitlyn handling it? People close to her claim she went into that meeting expecting bad news. When she received the message to report to the coach's office, she thought she was in trouble, maybe for speaking too honestly in interviews. Maybe she was about to be cut again. When the offer came, "We want you to be captain," she didn't immediately celebrate. She reportedly hesitated, because she understands what this means. Wearing that captain badge paints a giant target on her back, not only from opponents but from within the team. If chemistry collapses, she'll be blamed. If veterans rebel, the narrative will be Caitlyn lost the locker room. If the team loses, critics won't look to the coach. They'll look at the captain. Caitlyn is highly intelligent, not just on the court, but in front of the cameras. She knows this may not be a sincere peace offering, but you don't refuse Team USA. You don't refuse your country. So she accepted, fully aware she might be stepping into a minefield. She now leads a team that may not want to be led by her. And that's where the most unsettling theory enters the conversation: the glass cliff. In business, this term describes how women are often placed into leadership only when things are already collapsing. So when failure happens, they take the blame. That what's happening here? Think about it. International competition is tougher than ever. Teams like France, Spain, and Australia are legitimate threats. Meanwhile, the US core is aging SO by making Caitlyn captain now, at the beginning of a turbulent transition. Is the coach setting her up to fail? If Team USA falls short in upcoming tournaments, the story is already written. Critics will say, "See? We warned you." She disrupted the culture. This is what happens when you hand the team to the rookie. The veterans keep their legacy. The coach keeps her excuse. Caitlyn becomes the scapegoat. Because if Caitlyn somehow succeeds, the coach looks innovative. But if Caitlyn struggles, the coach looks justified for leaving her off the roster in the first place. It's a perfect safety net for the establishment, and a brutal risk for Caitlyn, unless she performs flawlessly under impossible pressure. Meanwhile, the internet is in chaos. On one side are the Clark loyalists, the millions of fans she brought into the game. They see this as victory, proof that talent wins over politics. They're celebrating online, editing photos of her wearing the captain's badge, taunting critics, demanding apologies. On the other side are the traditionalists, longtime fans of women's basketball. They're furious. They believe the sport is being sold for ratings. They argue a second-year player shouldn't lead legends. They think the decision disrespects the program's heritage. Comment sections have become war zones. People are calling the coach weak, calling veterans jealous, calling Caitlyn manufactured hype. It's messy. It's emotional. And it's only getting bigger. The situation has become deeply personal, and engagement is skyrocketing because of it. Ironically, that's exactly what the executives wanted all along. They didn't care whether the reaction was positive or negative. They just wanted everyone talking about Team USA again. And in that sense, they've succeeded. Now let's go back to that press conference, because the body language spoke louder than any statement. When the coach announced the news, she never once looked at Caitlyn. Her eyes stayed on her notes and the reporters, carefully avoiding direct contact with the very player she was promoting. Caitlyn, meanwhile, sat with her arms crossed, clearly guarded. Her responses were short and formal. "It's an honor. I'm ready to work. We have a great group." Classic PR lines. But the smile never reached her eyes. There was no warmth, no joking, no shared happiness between player and coach. Normally, when a new captain is named, the former captains are present to symbolically pass the torch. But where were they? Their absence was impossible to ignore. It was just the coach and Caitlyn isolated, a perfect metaphor for the team's current state. This sense of isolation now hangs over the entire program. Training camp begins next week, and it will be the first time Caitlyn steps on the court as the official captain. Every moment will be watched. Will the veterans pass her the ball? Will they respect her play calls? Or will there be a quiet resistance brewing beneath the surface? Practice footage will be analyzed like never before. Lip readers will study sideline conversations. Body language experts will examine every handshake, or lack of one. Every missed shot will become a talking point. Every turnover will spark debate. Caitlyn has already proven she can handle enormous pressure, from breaking NCAA scoring records to surviving a brutal rookie season. But leading a team full of people who may secretly resent you, that's a new level of psychological pressure altogether. And this decision goes far beyond just Team USA. It's shaking the entire professional landscape. It marks the beginning of a full power shift that will affect contracts, sponsorships, and media narratives for years to come. The Caitlyn Clark era isn't arriving. It has officially begun, endorsed at the national level. For players across the league, this is a wake-up call. Traditional hierarchy is gone. Marketability now matters just as much as seniority. This could create more resentment, or push other stars to elevate both their games and their brands. The league may become more competitive, more intense, and filled with even more drama as everyone tries to protect their share of the spotlight Caitlyn now commands. Naming her Team USA captain is the biggest gamble in the history of women's basketball, driven by money, fueled by fan demand, and carried out with an awkwardness that reveals deep internal conflict. The coach has swallowed her pride. The veterans are silently simmering. And Caitlyn Clark now stands alone at the center of the storm, holding the flag. The only question left is, will this mark the start of a new golden era, or the beginning of a public collapse on the world stage?